Ladies and gentlemen, when the world around you becomes quiet, something remarkable happens. The noise you thought belonged to the outside begins to reveal its true source. You sit down to rest. You finally stop moving, and instead of finding peace, you discover a mind racing with thoughts, worries, memories, regrets, and endless questions. Many people believe silence creates anxiety, but silence doesn't create anything. It simply uncovers what was already there. Most people spend their lives staying busy, not because every task is important, but because movement is an escape. As long as the schedule is full, as long as the phone keeps ringing, as long as there is another meeting, another notification, another distraction, there is no need to face the conversation happening inside the mind. Activity becomes a hiding place. Motion becomes a mask. Busyness becomes the illusion of progress. The moment your body becomes still, the mind no longer has competition. It takes center stage. Thoughts that have been waiting patiently finally have the opportunity to speak. The dreams you postponed begin asking difficult questions. The habits you've ignored begin demanding attention. The fears you've buried quietly knock on the door. This is why so many people become uncomfortable with silence. They mistake awareness for suffering. They believe something is wrong because they suddenly hear their thoughts more clearly. But the truth is, nothing new has appeared. You have simply removed the distractions that kept you from noticing it. Imagine a room filled with music. As long as the music is loud, you don't hear the ticking clock on the wall. Turn the music off, and suddenly the ticking seems incredibly loud. Did the clock become louder? No, it was always ticking. You simply created the conditions to hear it. Your mind works exactly the same way. Every unfinished goal leaves a whisper inside your mind. Every broken promise you made to yourself leaves another whisper. Every opportunity you avoided, every difficult conversation you postponed, every talent you refused to develop adds another voice to the background. During a busy day, those voices remain hidden beneath the noise of life. But when everything becomes still, they rise to the surface. Instead of fearing this experience, learn to appreciate it. Your restless mind is not always your enemy. Often, it is your greatest teacher. It points toward areas of your life that need attention. It reveals what your heart has been trying to tell you for months, sometimes years. Many people search everywhere for answers, without realizing that wisdom rarely shouts. It whispers. You cannot hear whispers while running through life at full speed. You hear them only when you slow down. Stillness is not empty. It is full of information. The greatest discoveries in life often happen during moments when nothing appears to be happening. While your body rests, your mind begins organizing experiences, connecting ideas, solving problems, and exposing truths you've been avoiding. Some of your best decisions will never come while you're rushing. They arrive while you're sitting quietly, walking alone, or watching the sunrise without reaching for your phone. There is a reason creative people throughout history valued solitude. They understood that silence creates space. Space allows clarity. Clarity produces better choices. Better choices create better lives. But many people never reach that clarity because they become afraid the moment their thoughts become loud. Instead of listening, they escape. They grab their phone. They turn on the television. They open another app. They call someone. Anything to avoid sitting alone with themselves. The problem with constant distraction is not the distraction itself. The problem is what it prevents. Growth requires awareness. Awareness requires attention. Attention requires stillness. You cannot improve what you refuse to observe. If every quiet moment is immediately filled with entertainment, your mind never has the opportunity to process your experiences. It's like constantly pouring new water into a glass without ever allowing it to settle. As long as the water keeps moving, you cannot see through it. Let it become still, and suddenly everything becomes clear. Your thoughts are very much like muddy water. At first, they seem chaotic. They bounce from one concern to another. Old memories appear unexpectedly. Random worries surface without invitation. Be patient. Don't run away. Stay with the process. Eventually, the mind begins settling. The unnecessary thoughts lose their strength. The important ones remain. This is where transformation begins. Many people ask why they feel overwhelmed the moment they stop working. The answer is simple. Their mind has been carrying emotional weight that their busy schedule kept hidden. The workload wasn't the problem. The silence simply revealed the burden they were already carrying. That realization is powerful because it changes your focus. Instead of trying to eliminate quiet moments, you begin using them as opportunities to heal. Stillness is like holding up a mirror. At first, you may not like what you see. You notice impatience. You notice insecurity. You notice fear. But a mirror doesn't create imperfections. It reveals them. Without the mirror, improvement becomes impossible. Your mind becomes louder because it wants your attention. Think about physical pain. If you place your hand on a hot surface, pain immediately demands action. Mental discomfort works similarly. Anxiety, frustration, regret, and dissatisfaction are signals. They are invitations to examine your direction. Ignoring them doesn't eliminate them. It simply delays the lesson. Some of the strongest people are not those who never struggle with their thoughts. They are the ones willing to sit quietly and face them without running away. That takes courage. Anyone can stay busy. Anyone can hide behind constant activity. Few people possess the discipline to sit in silence long enough to understand themselves. Self-awareness is one of life's greatest advantages because every lasting improvement begins there. Before you can improve your finances, you must understand your spending habits. Before you can strengthen your relationships, you must recognize your communication patterns. Before you can build confidence, you must become aware of the beliefs limiting you. Silence reveals these patterns. The louder your mind becomes during stillness, the more information it may be offering. Don't judge every thought. Observe it. Ask why it appeared. Ask what lesson it carries. Some thoughts deserve your attention. Others deserve your release. Learning the difference is wisdom. There is another reason your mind becomes louder when your body stays still. Modern life trains the brain to expect constant stimulation. Notifications, headlines, conversations, music, videos, advertisements, and endless scrolling keep the mind reacting every second. When all of that suddenly disappears, the brain continues searching for activity. If it cannot find stimulation outside, it creates stimulation inside. This is why practicing stillness feels uncomfortable at first. Your mind has developed habits, just like your body develops habits. A person who has never exercised finds the first workout difficult. A mind that has never experienced intentional silence finds quiet equally challenging. But every practice becomes easier with consistency. The more often you create moments of stillness, the less intimidating they become. Gradually, your thoughts begin organizing themselves. Emotional reactions lose their intensity. Decisions become simpler. Your confidence grows because you learn that you don't have to react to every thought that enters your mind. Thoughts are visitors. You decide which ones become residents. One negative idea doesn't define your future. One fearful thought doesn't determine your destiny. What shapes your life is not what crosses your mind, but what you repeatedly believe and act upon. Stillness gives you the opportunity to make that choice consciously. Instead of allowing your thoughts to control you, you begin observing them with calm curiosity. That single shift changes everything. Problems become manageable. Opportunities become visible. Gratitude becomes easier. Purpose becomes clearer. Many of life's greatest answers are already within you. They simply cannot compete with constant noise. When your body stays still and your mind grows louder, don't assume something has gone wrong. It may be the beginning of something extraordinary. It may be the first time you've truly heard yourself in years. It may be the moment hidden fears finally lose their power because they'd been brought into the light. It may be the moment forgotten dreams remind you they are still waiting. Do not fear the loudness of your mind. Listen carefully. Beneath the worries, beneath the doubts, beneath the endless mental chatter is a quieter voice. That voice speaks with wisdom instead of fear. It speaks with purpose instead of panic. It reminds you who you are when the distractions disappear. The world will always encourage movement. It will always reward busyness. But your greatest growth may begin the moment you choose to be still long enough to hear what you're. own life has been trying to tell you all along. Most people believe that staying busy is a sign of productivity, ambition, and purpose. They fill every hour with meetings, conversations, entertainment, work, and endless responsibilities. From the moment they wake up until the moment they fall asleep, their minds are occupied with something external. They rarely allow themselves a moment where nothing demands their attention. At first glance, this seems like a successful way to live. But the moment everything becomes quiet, something unexpected happens. The body finally rests, yet the mind begins to race. Thoughts appear from every direction. Old memories return without warning. Worries that seemed invisible during the day suddenly become impossible to ignore. Many people think the silence is causing this discomfort. But silence is not creating anything. It is simply revealing what has been hidden beneath constant activity. Think about how easy it is to avoid your own thoughts when life is moving at full speed. Every notification gives your mind somewhere else to look. Every conversation shifts your attention outward. Every task keeps you occupied just long enough to postpone dealing with what is happening inside. Busyness becomes a convenient escape because it allows you to delay difficult questions. Are you truly happy with the direction of your life? Are you becoming the person you once hoped to become? Are you living according to your values, or simply reacting to circumstances? These questions rarely surface while your schedule is overflowing, but they become much louder when everything around you slows down. This is why many people feel uncomfortable the moment they are alone. They immediately reach for their phone, turn on the television, scroll through social media, or search for another distraction. It is not because they enjoy constant stimulation as much as they believe. It is because silence forces them to meet themselves. That meeting can be uncomfortable when there are unfinished dreams, broken promises, hidden fears, or unresolved emotions waiting beneath the surface. The distractions never solve those problems. They simply postpone the conversation. Imagine walking into a room where a fan has been running all day. The steady noise becomes so familiar that you stop noticing it. The moment someone switches the fan off, another sound suddenly becomes obvious. Perhaps the ticking of a clock or the rain outside. Those sounds were always present. They were simply covered by something louder. Your mind works in much the same way. The constant motion of everyday life creates enough noise to cover thoughts that have been quietly waiting for your attention. Once the distractions disappear, those thoughts become clear. Every goal you abandoned leaves a reminder inside your mind. Every opportunity you ignored leaves a question. Every habit that pulls you away from the life you truly want leaves a quiet feeling of dissatisfaction. During busy days, these feelings stay in the background. During moments of stillness, they step into the foreground. This does not mean something is wrong with you. It means your mind is doing exactly what it was designed to do. It is bringing unfinished matters to your awareness so they can finally be addressed. Many people make the mistake of fighting these thoughts. They judge themselves for feeling anxious or restless. They assume they should instantly experience peace the moment they sit quietly. Real peace does not come from escaping your thoughts. It comes from understanding them. The first few moments of stillness often feel crowded because your mind is emptying everything it has been carrying throughout the day. Give it time. Do not panic because your thoughts are loud. Listen carefully instead. Some of those thoughts are nothing more than passing worries, but others contain valuable lessons about the direction your life needs to take. Silence has a remarkable way of exposing the gap between the life you are living and the life you truly desire. It reminds you of conversations you need to have, habits you need to change, and decisions you have been postponing. It shines a light on the places where you have settled for comfort instead of growth. While that realization may feel uncomfortable, it is also incredibly valuable, because awareness always comes before improvement. You cannot transform what you refuse to acknowledge. The people who experience the greatest personal growth are not those who avoid silence. They are the ones who learn to welcome it. Instead of treating quiet moments as something to escape, they use them as opportunities to understand themselves more deeply. They recognize that every uncomfortable thought is an invitation to examine their beliefs, their choices, and their priorities. Over time, the fear of silence begins to disappear because they realize that stillness is not their enemy. It is one of the most honest teachers they will ever encounter. As they become more comfortable sitting with their own thoughts, they begin to notice patterns they had overlooked for years, recognizing how repeated excuses have quietly shaped their habits, how small daily choices have directed the course of their future, and how every moment of honest reflection offers another opportunity to replace unconscious living with intentional action. One of the greatest misunderstandings people have is believing that every thought they experience represents who they are. The moment a fearful thought appears, they assume they are a fearful person. The moment doubt enters their mind, they believe they lack confidence. When negative ideas surface during quiet moments, they often judge themselves harshly, wondering why their minds seem so difficult to control. What they fail to recognize is that thoughts are simply mental events. They come and go like clouds moving across the sky. Some deserve your attention, while many deserve nothing more than your observation. Learning the difference is one of the most valuable skills you can develop. Your mind is constantly processing information. Every conversation you have, every experience you go through, every success, disappointment, challenge, and expectation leaves an impression. Throughout the day, your brain gathers thousands of pieces of information, storing them, organizing them, comparing them with past experiences, and preparing you for future situations. It is natural that all of these mental activities create thoughts. The presence of a thought does not automatically make it true. It certainly does not define your character or determine your future. Imagine standing beside a busy road. Hundreds of cars pass by every hour. You notice each one, but you do not attempt to enter every vehicle. You allow them to continue their journey while you remain where you are. Your thoughts deserve the same treatment. They pass through your mind continuously. Some carry useful ideas, valuable insights, and creative solutions. Others carry fear, insecurity, resentment, or unnecessary worry. Wisdom comes from recognizing that you do not have to climb into every passing thought and allow it to determine your direction. Many people become exhausted, not because life is too difficult, but because they argue with every thought that appears. They spend hours trying to eliminate negative thinking instead of learning how to observe it without surrendering to it. A single doubtful idea can consume an entire day if you give it enough attention. One careless opinion from another person can replay in your mind for weeks if you continue feeding it with your focus. Thoughts grow stronger through attention. Whatever you repeatedly focus on begins to shape your emotions, your decisions, and eventually your habits. Fear often provides one of the clearest examples of this principle. Before taking a meaningful step toward a dream, your mind may immediately produce reasons why you could fail. It may remind you of past disappointments, or imagine problems that have not even happened. This does not mean you are incapable. It simply means your mind is trying to protect you from uncertainty. While protection has its place, allowing fear to become your permanent advisor guarantees that you will remain where you are. Every worthwhile achievement requires moving forward despite uncertainty, rather than waiting until every fearful thought disappears. Doubt works in a similar way. Everyone experiences moments of uncertainty. Even highly successful people question themselves from time to time. The difference is not the absence of doubt, but the decision not to obey it. They understand that confidence is built through action, not through waiting for perfect certainty. Every step they take weakens the influence of doubt, because experience gradually replaces imagination. Anxiety also sends important signals when understood correctly. Instead of treating anxiety as proof that something is wrong with you, consider what it may be trying to reveal. Perhaps you have ignored an important responsibility. Perhaps your daily habits no longer align with your values. Perhaps you have postponed a conversation that needs to happen. Sometimes uncomfortable emotions are invitations to examine areas of life that deserve greater attention. The goal is not to become controlled by these emotions, but to become curious about what they are, pointing toward. Your inner dialogue has tremendous influence over the quality of your life. The words you repeatedly tell yourself become the lens through which you interpret every experience. If your internal voice constantly repeats that you are incapable, unlucky, or destined to fail, your decisions will gradually reflect those beliefs. On the other hand, when you train yourself to speak with honesty, responsibility, and encouragement, your actions begin changing as well. This does not require pretending that challenges do not exist. It requires refusing to let temporary thoughts become permanent identities. There is tremendous freedom in realizing that you are the observer of your thoughts, rather than their prisoner. You can acknowledge fear without surrendering to it. You can notice anger without allowing it to control your behavior. You can experience disappointment without concluding that your future has been decided. Every moment offers another opportunity to choose which thoughts deserve your energy and which ones should simply continue passing by. As this awareness grows stronger, your emotional reactions become less automatic. You stop allowing every passing worry to dictate your decisions. You begin creating space between what you think and how you respond. In that space, wisdom begins to replace impulse. Patience begins to replace panic, and intentional choices begin shaping a life directed by purpose instead of temporary emotions, allowing your actions to reflect your deepest values rather than the loudest thoughts passing through your mind. The world often celebrates speed. People admire those who move quickly, make rapid decisions, and constantly stay occupied. There is an unspoken belief that the faster you go, the more successful you become. While hard work and decisive action are essential, there is another principle that is often overlooked. True clarity is rarely discovered in the middle of constant motion. It is usually found during moments of stillness, when the noise fades, distractions disappear, and the mind finally has the opportunity to organize itself. The quality of your decisions depends far more on the clarity of your thinking than on the speed of your actions. Think about how many decisions people make while they are emotionally overwhelmed. They react out of frustration, fear, excitement, or pressure. Later, when emotions settle, they often realize they would have chosen differently if they had given themselves a little time to think. This happens because emotions can temporarily cloud judgment. A restless mind struggles to see possibilities clearly. It focuses on immediate discomfort rather than long-term direction. Stillness creates enough distance between emotion and action to allow wisdom to take its furrows. Imagine looking into a lake during a violent storm. The water is constantly moving, making it impossible to see beneath the surface. Once the wind settles, the water gradually becomes calm, revealing everything that was hidden below. Your mind operates in much the same way. Constant activity, endless information, and emotional pressure create mental turbulence. When you intentionally slow down, your thoughts begin settling. What once seemed confusing starts making sense. Solutions that felt impossible begin appearing naturally because clarity emerges when the mind is no longer consumed by chaos. Many of life's biggest mistakes are not caused by a lack of intelligence. They are caused by making important decisions before the mind has become clear. People accept opportunities they should decline. They remain in situations they should leave. They ignore possibilities that could completely change their future simply because they never allowed themselves enough quiet time to examine their circumstances honestly. A rushed decision often solves today's discomfort while creating tomorrow's regret. Stillness gives you something incredibly valuable that busyness can never provide. It gives you perspective. Perspective allows you to step outside your immediate emotions and examine your life from a broader point of view. Instead of asking what feels easiest today, you begin asking what will matter 1 year from now, 5 years from now, or even 20 years from now. That shift changes everything, because wise decisions are built upon long-term thinking, rather than temporary feelings. Many successful people intentionally create quiet moments before making important choices. They understand that the greatest investment they can make is not simply working harder, but thinking better. They take walks without distractions. They sit alone with a notebook. They spend time reflecting before responding. They recognize that every important decision deserves thoughtful consideration instead of automatic reaction. These quiet moments are not wasted time. They are some of the most productive hours because they prevent costly mistakes while revealing better opportunities. Clarity also helps you recognize what truly deserves your attention. Every day presents countless demands, invitations, responsibilities, and distractions. Without clear priorities, everything begins feeling equally important. You become busy without becoming effective. Stillness allows you to separate what is urgent from what is meaningful. It reminds you that not every opportunity deserves a yes, and not every distraction deserves your energy. Every time you choose what truly matters, you strengthen your ability to build a purposeful life. Another remarkable benefit of quiet reflection is that it strengthens confidence. Many people struggle with uncertainty because they constantly seek approval from everyone around them. They ask countless opinions before trusting their own judgment. While wise advice has tremendous value, there comes a point where you must learn to hear your own convictions. That becomes much easier when your mind is no longer overwhelmed by outside voices. Stillness creates room for your values, principles, and experiences to guide your decisions, instead of allowing every outside influence to determine your direction. Purpose also becomes clearer during moments of reflection. In the middle of constant activity, it is easy to lose sight of why you are working so hard in the first place. You become focused on completing tasks instead of fulfilling your mission. Quiet moments reconnect you with the reasons behind your efforts. They remind you of the goals that truly matter, the relationships worth protecting, and the character you want to develop. When purpose becomes clear, motivation becomes more consistent, because your actions are connected to something greater than temporary emotions. Every day offers opportunities to practice this habit. It does not require extraordinary circumstances or endless hours of free time. Even a few intentional moments of quiet reflection can begin changing the quality of your thinking. The more consistently you create space for your mind to settle, the easier it becomes to recognize unnecessary worries, identify meaningful opportunities, and respond with wisdom instead of impulse. Over time, these small moments of stillness become the foundation for stronger judgment, greater confidence, deeper self-awareness, and decisions that consistently move your life toward the future you genuinely desire, rather than the future created by hurried reactions or temporary emotions. The greatest battle you will ever fight is not against other people or difficult circumstances. It is the battle that takes place inside your own mind every single day. Long before your actions become visible to the world, they begin as conversations within yourself. Every achievement, every failure, every habit, and every decision is influenced by the voice you listen to most often. If that voice constantly fills your mind with excuses, fear, and self-doubt, your life will naturally follow those directions. If that voice is trained to speak with honesty, responsibility, and purpose, your actions begin moving toward growth instead of limitation. Most people underestimate the power of their inner dialogue. They pay close attention to what others say about them, but rarely notice what they repeatedly say to themselves. Yet the words you hear from yourself every day have a greater influence than any opinion offered by someone else. If you continually tell yourself that you are too late, too inexperienced, too unlucky, or incapable of changing, those beliefs quietly become the foundation of your choices. Before long, you stop trying, not because success is impossible, but because your own thinking has convinced you that effort is pointless. Your inner voice is formed over many years. It is shaped by childhood experiences, personal victories, disappointments, criticism, encouragement, and the habits you practice every day. While you cannot change everything that influenced your past, you have complete responsibility for what you choose to believe moving forward. Every day presents another opportunity to replace limiting beliefs with stronger ones. This does not happen through empty positive thinking. It happens through honest self-reflection, followed by consistent action. Many people wait until they feel confident before taking meaningful steps toward their goals. Confidence rarely appears first. More often, confidence is the result of keeping promises to yourself. Each time you follow through on a commitment, no matter how small, you strengthen your trust in your own character. That trust gradually changes your inner dialogue. Instead of saying, "I never finish anything," you begin saying, "I have proven that I can remain disciplined." Your words become believable because your actions support them. Silence plays an important role in mastering your inner voice, because it gives you the opportunity to hear what has been influencing your decisions all along. Without quiet moments, negative patterns continue unnoticed. You react automatically instead of intentionally. But when you slow down and pay attention, you begin recognizing the habits of thought that no longer serve you. You notice how quickly you criticize yourself after making a mistake. You observe how often you expect failure before even trying. Awareness becomes the first step toward replacing those patterns with healthier ones. Mastering your inner voice also requires learning to question your automatic thoughts. Not every belief deserves to be accepted simply because it appears in your mind. Ask yourself whether a particular thought is helping you grow or holding you back. Is it based on facts or fear? Is it encouraging responsibility or creating excuses? The quality of these questions determines the quality of your thinking. Over time, your mind becomes less reactive and more intentional because you stop accepting every thought as absolute truth.